Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to another edition of the Bracketology Update. This one is for, as you can tell in the title, December 28th from Joe Lunardi, and there are some surprises in this one. Louisville and Florida have both fallen to 8 seeds after being pretty high at the start of the season. Tennessee and Arizona are moving up on that side of the bracket. Kentucky's down to a 5 seed. Oklahoma replaced them as a 4 seed. Kansas is up to a 3 seed. North Carolina, even after losing to Wofford, is a 2 seed, surprisingly. Wichita State fell down to a 3 seed. Purdue moved up to a 3 seed, and there's been some other changes that you can see from along this. And as always, I'm just going to go ahead and make my predictions based off of this bracketology. And I made the bracket, as always, on brackify.com. This link will be in the description so you can vote. And I just went ahead and made some quick predictions here. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth than I have in the past just because I'm starting to know a little bit more about each team. And not a whole lot, but a little bit on the surface level. And so we'll go ahead and make the predictions. You guys can leave your thoughts and predictions in the comments below or by clicking the link and picking your own teams. And then leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more of this content and be put on those push notifications for future bracketology videos that come out and to stay in the loop. So I'm going to have Villanova beating the winner of Hampton and Nashville in a Dayton first 4 game. I think Louisville will beat SMU. Then Tennessee will beat New Mexico State, even though New Mexico State just beat Miami. And then Arizona will beat Vermont. Cincinnati will beat the winner of Auburn, Minnesota. That Auburn-Minnesota game would be good, but I think Auburn would win that one. Then Virginia and Murray State. I'm from Kentucky, so I know about Murray State, but Virginia would just overpower them. It wouldn't even be close. St. Bonaventure as an at-large team, as a 10 seed. They're a team that's surprising people. They just went to Syracuse and won on Syracuse's home floor. But I'm going to have to go with Notre Dame there. Notre Dame was a 2 seed at one point this season, but they're looking pretty bad now. I don't know what's happening with that team. But I'll go ahead and pick them over St. Bonaventure as of right now, though that could change. West Virginia will beat Bucknell. Arizona State as a 1 seed will beat Idaho. Michigan will beat Nevada. Kentucky will beat Missouri State. Oklahoma will beat Towson. Arkansas will beat the winner of UCLA and Temple, which I think Temple would win that game, even though UCLA just beat Kentucky. Kansas will beat UC Santa Barbara. Missouri, I think, will beat Creighton. North Carolina would beat East Tennessee State. And then over here on the top right side of the bracket, we have Duke beating Iona. Then Florida beating Rhode Island. Then I like Boston College pulling off the upset here against Seton Hall. Boston College beat Duke and won it in a game on their home floor earlier this season. That'd be a crazy matchup to see in the NCAA Tournament too. I'm going to go with Boston College beating Seton Hall. Then TCU will beat South Dakota. Then I like St. John's over Florida State. Purdue beating Ball State. And then Baylor beating Syracuse. And then Xavier beating Northern Kentucky. Then in the bottom right side of the bracket, we have Michigan State beating the winner of St. Francis and Texas Southern in a first 4 game. Mohamed Bamba leading Texas to a victory over Butler. Gonzaga beating UT Arlington. I like Stephen F. Austin pulling off an upset as a 13 seed over a 4 seed. Miami just lost to New Mexico State. And Stephen F. Austin's been pulling off some pretty good games recently. They beat LSU. They almost beat Missouri. They've been looking good recently. So then I'm going to go with Texas Tech beating Middle Tennessee. Thought Middle Tennessee was going to be a trendy upset pick at the beginning of the season, but they haven't been performing as well as I thought they'd be this season. And Wichita State will beat Lipscomb. I think Clemson will beat USC, and Texas A&M will beat Princeton. So now to move to the Sweet 16, I think Louisville will lose to Villanova. I think Arizona will beat Tennessee. Virginia will beat Cincinnati, and West Virginia will beat Notre Dame. Arizona, somebody picked Michigan out of 3 people who have voted on the bracket before I made this video. Arizona State will beat Michigan, though somebody picked Michigan to win. Then Kentucky and Oklahoma. I'm a Kentucky fan, huge Kentucky fan. I've had them going pretty far in the previous brackets, but that loss to UCLA was just bad, man. And as of this moment, with Trae Young leading the nation in points and assists per game, I'm going to have to go with Oklahoma, as much as it pains me to beat Kentucky. Kansas beating Arkansas. Then North Carolina beating Missouri. Duke beating Florida. That's already happened this season. Then I think Boston College could pull off the upset here and beat TCU. Why not make it splash? Go ahead and do that. TCU is undefeated, but they wouldn't be after this game. Purdue would beat St. John's. Xavier would beat Baylor. Michigan State would beat Texas. I think Stephen F. Austin would pull off the upset against Gonzaga. Wichita State will beat Texas Tech, and then Texas A&M will beat Clemson. So for a spot in the Elite Eight, Villanova and Arizona, I think Villanova would win that game. Virginia and West Virginia, I'm going to go with Virginia winning there against West Virginia. It'll be a border battle there. I don't know what their rivalry game is called. That might be something worth looking into. But this game, man, I think Arizona State is a more complete team now. That's why I have them beating Oklahoma. Oklahoma has more star power as of right now because of Trae Young. He's setting the nation on fire. I'll have to go with Arizona State winning that. And then Kansas and North Carolina. I'm actually going to pick Kansas, even though they've already lost 2 games, one to Washington. I think the other was to Arizona State. Then Duke and Boston College. Duke will get the revenge and move on there. Xavier will beat Purdue. Michigan State will beat Stephen F. Austin. And then I think Wichita State will beat Texas A&M. And then for a spot in the Final Four, Villanova versus Virginia. Going with Villanova. Arizona State and Kansas. I think Kansas will avenge their loss to Arizona State earlier this season to move on to the Final Four. Duke and Xavier. I got Duke moving on. And then Michigan State beating Wichita State. Then for a spot in the national championship game, Villanova and Kansas. Villanova's just looking like a complete team right now. They're like 63-3 before the turn of the year in the last 5 years or something like that. Last 3 or 5 years. I think they're going to beat Kansas here. Then Duke and Michigan State. I've picked Michigan State to beat Duke in every single bracket I think I've done so far this year with all the bracketology updates. And they haven't shown me a reason to go against that until Michigan State loses another game unimpressively or wins unimpressively or Duke just blows me away somehow. Duke's got to learn how to close out close games. I think Michigan State's going to win there. So Michigan State versus Villanova. I've picked Michigan State winning in like the last 3 bracketology videos I've done, but I think Villanova might be the team to beat this season, so I'm going to go with Villanova. So there you have it. I predicted Villanova to win based off of this bracketology. I want to hear your guys' thoughts and reactions to that and your own predictions in the comment section below. Make sure you drop a like on this video if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and I shall see you guys later. Thanks for watching.